It's 10 o'clock, and this is Fox 10 Talks. I'm Ron Hoon. We have a story that's coming in from one part of the valley here that's really raising a lot of questions. Sky Fox over the scene where a couple of women got into a fight that turned so violent that the next thing you know, one of them pulls out a gun, aims it at the other, shoots, and ends up hitting a third woman who was an innocent bystander nearby. We've got that whole story coming up. We also have several other stories we're following. How about the case of a 10-year-old boy arrested in a weapons case in a popular Valley park? Also, the parents of Mercedes Vega, that beautiful 22-year-old young lady really just getting her life started here in the Valley, found in a burned-out car. They have now spoken out to Fox 10. And in the world of politics was the D.C. pipe bombing suspect trying to make a political statement. Let me also pop up the poll question. Oh, by the way, Ronnie, I see our engineer here, Trent. I'm hearing an echo in my headphones right now like I haven't heard in months. So I think at home it sounds normal to you, but I feel like I'm in the Grand Canyon right now. All right, let's do this. Let's roll the poll question, and here we go. Should members of Congress be allowed to own stocks? Right? And look, more people are grabbing the QR code, and you can let us know what you think. 18% are saying yes, as long as they disclose it and it's all above board. 0% are saying, look, only if they don't vote on any bills that affect those particular companies. And 85% are saying no, there could be conflicts of interest. So that is our QR code poll, and you are certainly invited to give us a vote on that. We'd love to know your opinion. Grab that QR code. So on to this first story of the morning here, and it comes out of a neighbor. Would you look at that police response? So this is Sky Fox over the scene of a shooting investigation. Boy, was this one unusual. In the end, it turned out that it was an innocent bystander who got hit in the gunfire. But police are saying, and, you know, we're trying to kind of gauge the crime scene right here. And you can see right there that they've got it all. It looks like they have literally surrounded that entire section with the crime scene. Did it happen right out there in the middle of the street? That's what we're still trying to piece together. You can tell from the images. It was just before nightfall last night. But apparently there was some sort of a fight that got intense between these two women. And at least one of them pulled out a gun and opened fire on the other one. I'm not sure if the second lady was armed or not. But it turns out that there was an innocent bystander, another lady, who was not even involved in the fight, who had to be rushed to the hospital. Now, the word out of the hospital this morning is at least she's going to live. But we are still going to work our sources with the police department. There were no men involved in this one at all, it seems, and it's not clear yet what the fight was about. But a couple of ladies get into a fight, and boy, it gets violent in a hurry. So that's certainly one of the more unusual stories that we have for you this morning. And then on what turned out to be a very violent day in the city, but sometimes you say to yourself, you know, now I've heard everything. We've got this one. This is a woman who is behind bars accused of stabbing a man with such pinpoint accuracy that she stabbed the guy in the heart. So her name is Demetriana Devine, and she's going to face a bunch of charges. Police are saying this whole thing was completely unprovoked. It happened earlier in the week. Prosecutors say that she's 23 years old. She grabbed the knife or whatever it was she had in the attack and stabs the man directly in the heart, and he lives. 23rd Avenue and Thomas Road, so just a block or so. You can see a little convenience store there just off the I-17 freeway. Again, police say it was totally unprovoked, and so they are trying to piece it together. And then we have this story coming in really pretty unbelievable. Hi, Celeste.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Okay.
Good morning, Ron.
We have this story now that's really pretty unbelievable. I was just telling the audience, it seems like every day you'll say, well, now I've heard everything, because it's a 10-year-old boy who's under arrest in this case. That's the gun that was seized. It's at a really popular park here in the Valley. Now, there was another boy, older, 16, but still, kind of kids here. Investigators say that somebody reported seeing the boys handling a gun at Sundance Park near Rainbow and Lower Buckeye Roads. When officers got there, the boys initially tried to hide the gun from them. But the 10-year-old was arrested and yet, handed over to a guardian. A 16-year-old was taken into custody. They are both going to face charges in this case. So a bunch of kind of violent and somewhat unbelievable stories here in the Valley. And then we have this story, Celeste, coming in where this had to be so hard. The parents of Mercedes Vega decide to speak to the media, and they talk to us at Fox 10. Now, she's a 22-year-old beautiful young lady who lost her life in what appears to be a really vicious attack.
Yeah, I mean, when you read some of the details of what happened, so her body was found in a burned car.
Yeah.
And then the medical examiner had shared some information about her, that bleach had been in her throat.
Yeah.
Her body had been burned, but she died from smoke inhalation, and she suffered a gunshot. And so you have two guys, right, who are in jail right now, accused of the crime. They're looking for the death penalty on those two individuals. And then there's another one in Georgia.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
There's a third person, a man in Georgia, and he is awaiting other charges in the state of Georgia. I don't know. So we haven't heard if there's he's going to be extradited to Arizona to face these charges. We have not heard that yet.
Well, it's again, it had to be so difficult for her parents to sit down and do this interview, but they chose to do so with our Nicole Christine, one of our great reporters here. And here is Nicole's report.
It's very hard to feel the emotions of pain, anger, and happy all in the same emotion.
As Tom and Erica Pillsbury enter their third Christmas without their beloved daughter, Mercedes Vega, they say they are still constantly reminded of her and visited by her.
I watch Christmas movies this time of the year because that's what me and Mercedes did, is watch Christmas movies.
This year, the couple is approaching the holidays with a new development in Mercedes' case. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office filing notices of intent this week to seek the death penalty for two men accused in Mercedes' death, Sincere Hayes and Cujo Young. Mercedes' parents saying the potential punishment fits what was lost.
The times with her siblings and the times with the family and everything that was stolen. Deal with your consequences. You chose it.
Young is a suspect Mercedes had previously identified in an armed robbery case. Mercedes' parents say they would support combining the robbery and murder cases.
This, I believe, will be most likely the best situation that we can have for justice.
It gives direct motive. It shows from point to end. It's not well, maybe this happened or this happened. It literally, they're going to start from the beginning and they're going to run you through the story. It's not a good story, but that's basically what it is.
Okay, and again, that was our report as Nicole spoke to the family. So there's just a lot to learn as this case continues to unfold. But Celeste, we are going to stay on top of it, because when the case first came out, people, I think, were shocked and outraged at the horrific treatment this young woman suffered through. But then, as we said, arrests were announced, and you kind of ran through that part of it. So we'll stay on top of that story. In the meantime, all right, so we've already established, in a city of 5 million people, you're going to have a lot of stories almost on a daily basis regarding the violence. But one of the things people occasionally say to me is, I just don't watch a lot of news because I feel like it's all bad news. We can't sugarcoat it. right? I mean, we have to cover it.
And I don't think you want us to sugarcoat it. I mean, because you want to know the unfortunate things that happen. Maybe we can help you live a safer life. But then we also have those sweet stories that you can actually call family and friends and share with them and go, wow, and just go, you know what, goodness still exists in humanity.
And again, people will criticize social media, but this is a case of people's hearts, I think, from all over the country coming together to help an 88-year-old man who needed help. And some social media influencers found out about his story, decided to share it. And the next thing you know, so here's the setup, and then you'll hear from the folks who were involved in this.
Story.
It's so great. Army veteran struggling to make ends meet. What happens is Edmund Bombas from Michigan retired 25 years ago, but then his wife gets sick and he takes almost all of his life savings to care for her.
Yeah.
And then his pension was taken away. That part I'm still not 100% sure of. That's unbelievable to me that somebody starts with a pension, then they get it taken away. I'd like to know more about that part.
Well, he worked for GM. He worked for GM, and when the company went bankrupt, he said that's when he lost his pension and his health insurance.
Well, so the GoFundMe folks found out about it.
Yeah.
And here's what they were saying.
Inspiring for me personally to see his story and see what he does every day. I think everyone around the world is kind of seeing the same thing now.
Yeah, no kidding. So these influencers went on to GoFundMe they said, look, we can help you pay your bills through this venue, this senior citizen. Well, Celeste.
So
they raised more than enough to pay the bills.
Oh my gosh, so much more. So he said, 88 years old, as Ron mentioned, from Michigan, a vet, and how they found this story was he went back to work.
He was at the grocery store at a Myers.
He was working at the grocery store,
right?
And so. I think somebody stopped and asked him, and they said, "Hey, why are you working?
Look at him with his wife.
You're 88 years old." Yeah. And so he said, I need to. I lost my pension. My wife was sick. I lost my insurance when GM went bankrupt. That's when he said the thing that really hurt him the most was when his wife was really sick. And this is a quote I'm reading from our Fox station there in Detroit. He says, they took my pension. They also took the healthcare coverage and all but $10,000 of my life insurance. So he sold the house, sold the property just to make it through.
The bottom line is this. They went on to that GoFundMe. They raised $1 million for this 88-year-old man. He probably loves where he works. Maybe now he won't work 5 days a week. Maybe he'll cut it to 2.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Don't tell me we don't have good news stories around here, at least on FTT. All right, here we go. Mystery Cam in the snow. Every morning at 10:15, we do the Mystery Cam, and we love it if you guys jump in with a guess. I've been trying to figure out, Celeste, what kind of a building is this? With a great big American... It could be a school.
I was thinking school, like an elementary school.
It could be a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like a government building. It doesn't look like any kind of a retail establishment, but I just noticed somebody pulled up in the parking lot. They're parking their vehicle right now. I hope they get out of their car.
Yes.
And walk in, and it helps to provide some clues for us in the viewing audience. But
what about a post office? There's too many cars there for a post office.
Yeah, no kidding. And not enough people kind of coming and going.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like people are showing up for work. But a lot of minivans and SUVs, I don't know. I will say this.
Can we drop the Fox 10 Talks logo?
Oh,
because I see a sign
Celeste,
there behind.
Brilliant.
It might
call.
say entrance.
All right, here we go.
Oh, it's on the video. Thank you guys for trying.
Yeah.
What if it's like a surgical clinic or something?
To me, okay, it's a surgery center.
Like an outpatient center.
Sure. It's a 3-story, 100,000 square foot surgery center. But I look at the landscape, Celeste, and to me it says Idaho.
Oh, okay.
But I see where Louis Gonzalez is saying Montana.
Yes.
And I know we've got cameras up there, too. What are you going to go with?
So Linda Monterth says upstate New York.
Okay.
Lil Philosophy says Colorado.
Yeah.
And Jenna Purr says Michigan. I think a couple people went with Michigan because she said, I'm going to go with them, too. Troy.
Yeah.
He says Michigan.
All right.
So we've got a few different options here this morning. And a big shout out. Thank you. 21 of the viewers this morning have liked this video.
Hey.
So that's a big number early on.
We're supportive of liking and subscribing.
Yes.
Aren't we? Yeah, we are.
And sharing.
And sharing.
Sharing is caring, Ron.
Well, we already say that this is the friendliest chat on the internet, and you guys are going to love our guest that we got coming up in about 60 seconds. I think he's going to appreciate your feedback, too. But Celeste, first, let's do this. You tell us. So I went Montana.
You went Montana.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to go Idaho.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. I went Idaho.
Idaho.
So are you going to go Idaho, too, or are you going Montana?
I had when I worked in Boise, the morning anchor actually dressed up for Halloween. And she was Idaho, Miss Idaho.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay,
go make that what you will.
All right,
okay,
it's
here
Idaho,
it is.
It's Montana, it's...
Dodgeville, Wisconsin.
We weren't even
Everybody
close.
was off.
All right.
No,
hey,
brother.
So we promised you a moment ago that we're going to have a great guest for you, and here he is, ladies and gentlemen. If you follow him on TikTok, you'll be excited to know he's joining our streaming show. It's David Arthur Crabb. Now, Celeste, he is the nonpartisan news guy.
Yes.
And if you follow him on TikTok, it's just really interesting the way he sort of takes this particular approach. David, hi. How are you? And where are you, by the way?
Hey, Ron and Celeste. It's great to be with you. So I live in sunny South Carolina now. It's funny. I moved here, though, from Minnesota. And so when I was watching that, my guess was Minnesota. So I was pretty close.
You were close.
Because it was Wisconsin.
Yeah. And, you have, I looked you up on TikTok this morning. Again, I know we've chatted with you in the past. 54.2 thousand followers, 1.6 million likes. What do you gauge in terms of people say they don't want to watch the news, they don't want to listen to the news, but obviously you have a lot of followers and a lot of likes. People still want to know what's going on.
Yeah, and it's funny. My main platform is actually Facebook, where there's even more. And what I found is that when I really started this, I thought so many places are a place where you either end up in like an echo chamber, maybe it's a friendly community, but regardless, it's a place where people think just like you. And I thought I'd like to create a platform, a place where regardless of kind of where you are politically, you can learn about what's happening, you can engage with the news, and you can do so with people who may not be exactly where you are. And so that's what I found. I've tried to put out what happens and why it matters, but in a way that kind of regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, you can engage with.
We're going to get into all the big political stories this morning. I don't know if you caught Kash Patel's interview last night. But a lot of people have been talking about the arrest finally made. Why? Why did it take almost 5 years to crack what seems like a pretty simple case? I mean, the guy was arrested just a few miles away from the scene of the crime. We're talking about the arrest of the pipe bomber. And here's what Kash Patel had to say, and then we'll get your your take on this. He was on Fox last night.
It's either sheer incompetence or complete intentional negligence, and neither of which is acceptable for this FBI.
Now, keep in mind, by the way, there's the mugshot of the guy now identified 30 years old as Brian Cole Jr. living at his mom's house in suburban Washington, right over there in Virginia. Now there's a story that sources say that he says he thought the election was stolen.
Okay.
The 2020 election.
One of the things, David, I think is the no-brainer on this, Ron, that you mentioned was living at his mom's house.
Yeah.
That's a big question mark, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's for sure. What's your take on all this?
It's hard to know why it took this long. I think that's one of the things that we're going to discover, right? And we don't really have the information yet as to why did it take 5 years when it's really just right across the street from the scene of the crime. Were there political elements involved? What we do know, though, is that that there were a lot of conspiracy theories around this, around the pipe bombs being placed there. In fact, really, for years, especially on Twitter, the investigation was kind of mired in conspiracy theories. And so whether there were political elements involved or just the press that got in the way of this investigation, we really don't know yet, because the FBI hasn't released any information other than that they have the suspect and we have his name, but we don't really know a lot more. So I think the story to watch here is why did it take that long? Why did it take 5 years? We'll find out.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. Now, yesterday, the drug boat controversy went basically to a new level, what with senators being called in behind closed doors, getting a chance to talk to the admiral, but also seeing the video. I thought it was kind of interesting, and Celeste and I both wanted to get your take on this. Democrats came out of that meeting saying they were still troubled. Republicans came out of it saying they believe what the Pentagon is saying, which was that the people that survived that strike were still, quote, in the fight. That they weren't just, like lonely survivors out there. They were radioing some other guys that could have been part of the whole drug running boat operation, etc. So you got two takes, maybe not surprising after seeing the video, but what do you think about it all?
I think it's interesting. It is a situation where you have two very different takes. They come out of the room. Senator Tom Cotton, who's a Republican, says there was no kill everybody on the boat order. And he says, what I saw was, it's war, but it's difficult, but I think it was very appropriate. Then you have a Democrat who's the chair of the Armed Services Committee, and he says it's the single most disturbing thing I've seen in my entire career. He says the two survivors were sitting on the boat trying to flip it over for over an hour before the second strike happened. So we're getting two very different accounts. Of course, it's a very sensitive political moment for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, as now you have both a few Republicans and then all Democrats, but regardless, a bipartisan group that is saying we need to investigate this. We need to get to the bottom of whether this is a war crime or not. So a very sensitive moment for him.
Let's jump over to the Supreme Court clearing the way for, the Texas redistricting maps, if we can. Your thoughts on that as we kind of move forward in the highest court in the land voting on this issue?
Yeah, if you remember, President Donald Trump asked the state of Texas, the legislature, to redraw those maps to give Republicans 5 more seats so that they have a better shot of holding on to Congress in the midterms in 2026. He did that. California Governor Gavin Newsom responded by saying, we're going to do the same. And then there's been a little bit of a trickle-down effect in other states that are redrawing these maps. So the question is that legal? And we've now got an answer from the Supreme Court, who was divided along ideological lines, 6-3. Last night, they put out an unsigned order and said that Texas could go ahead with those maps. And so even though there are legal battles, like for instance on the California one, we're likely to see the same result, and that is that these redrawn maps can be used in 2026.
I did see one political commentator, they don't call it MSNBC anymore now, it's called MS Now. And I look at all the channels. I look at Fox, I look at MS, I look at CNN, News Nation, I look at them all.
It's important to do that.
Thank you. Absolutely. But this commentator's prediction was that despite all of this, what's going on with the districts moving around, it's still traditionally the kind of year where the party in the White House is going to lose seats. The party in power, maybe 20 to 30 seats being lost. Have you heard any kind of predictions as to where we're actually headed for next year?
I think so. That seems likely. And probably the best way to judge this is when you look at the elections that we did have now in the off year, the ones we just came from, what you're seeing is that in every single sort of area, you're seeing a movement just a little bit left, even in states like New Jersey or Virginia or New York. Folks that voted for Donald Trump, now there's a little bit of a trend towards the other way, which shows that there probably is movement towards the Democratic Party, which is very, very typical once a president's been elected on that off year.
You know, there was some chatter I was reading on YouTube and on TikTok, some videos that were made about Stephen Colbert running for a Senate seat in North Carolina. Your thoughts on that and whether or not this is actually going to happen? Some people in the rumor mill are saying, or South Carolina. Thank you, Big D.
South Carolina, yeah.
But what are your thoughts on that?
This guy's our South Carolina correspondent.
Exactly.
That's right. I live here. Stephen Colbert is from here. He still owns a home in Sullivan's Island. There's a lot of chatter about that. Look, I'll be honest. I think it's unlikely to happen. Colbert has never confirmed this or even shown that he is thinking about it. But there have been a lot of there were petitions when he was when he lost his show. Folks started talking about it, and the main thing that they're saying is, look, Lindsey Graham has two things that are happening for him. He's a long-term senator who's extremely well-funded, but he's also, second thing, not exactly ragingly popular with really any group. Like, he's been around a long time, and there's not like huge Lindsey Graham fans, even in the state of South Carolina, even amongst Republicans. But it would take somebody with a lot of firepower, someone with the celebrity status of Colbert who could raise the kind of money. And of course, he's extremely articulate. We do have someone that's running against Lindsey Graham here, Annie Andrews, who's a pediatrician. But of course, the kind of money and firepower it might take to overturn Lindsey Graham would be someone of Stephen Colbert's caliber, certainly.
Well, I got to say, Celeste, David has been a smash hit.
Absolutely.
With us.
Thanks,
reporting
guys.
from What town in South Carolina, by the way? Where are you?
Greenville, South Carolina.
Oh,
it's
up
right
in the mountains there.
Yeah, it's beautiful, right in the mountains.
I got to ask you, after looking at your Facebook, we have 30 seconds left here, but why should people follow you? Do you have a news background? Do you just love, give us a quick 20 to 30 seconds here.
If you want to know what's happening in a way that doesn't cause you a lot of anxiety and stress, and that doesn't try to tilt you towards a certain direction, give me a follow. You can follow me on all major platforms.
Very calming voice as well.
Yeah,
Rob.
David Arthur Crabb. That's Crabb with two B's.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Not crabby, though.
No, not at all. Well,
no.
Most people are pretty friendly in the Carolinas.
I think so.
I've
You're
found
right.
that out for sure.
South Carolina.
All right. Thank you, friend.
Thanks,
by the
guys.
way, the poll question is coming up next, and the snow cornucopia continues this morning. Look at that.
Lots of red brick.
All right. We'll be right back. I'm trying to remember looking at this snowy scene, but I think it might be West Virginia.
Oh.
Which is a beautiful state. It doesn't get near enough love.
But it gets plenty of snow. It looks like that's
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so it's Ron and Celeste, and this is Fox 10 Talks, our streaming show. People watching around the world on YouTube. Be sure to say hi in the online chat. Around here, we love food chat.
Yes, we do.
And one of the most beloved taco places here in the Valley is about to get some national love tonight on Guy Fieri's Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Yes, Tacos Chihuas.
Ooh, yeah.
They are going to be, this is the second time they've been on his show. And have you seen, do we want to roll that video, Ron?
Mm-hmm.
Do we, they've had a couple of different locations in and around town. This is the OG location.
All right.
Right on, I think it was McDowell and like the 51, I believe.
Okay.
This one's no longer there. Their newer location is on Indian School, right around, I want to say 12th Street-ish.
Oh, yeah.
And they're amazing. It's a wife and a husband, and the tacos are so delicious.
Yeah.
And this is the second time they're with Guy Fieri.
Oh, this is so great. Well, I feel like Guy, we talk about 5 million people live here, and there are like 10,000 restaurants or whatever, from the fanciest, from 5-star to 1-star, whatever.
Yes.
I feel like he could almost do his show from here every week. There's so many great places to explore.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have, I was walking through, we were on a Southwest Airlines flight not too long ago this fall. I think he may be having a restaurant in Terminal 4. They're really building out that Terminal 4 in Southwest Airlines Terminal. And I think, wouldn't it be cool if he married a gal named Gal, and it's like Guy and Gal Fieri?
Right?
Yeah.
He could marry whoever he wants and just call her his gal.
That's right. Here's
Something
Guy
like
and Gal Fieri.
Okay, and then there's this other amazing food story. What do you think about this? The folks at 7-Eleven, I love when they test something out in a different part of the world, and it's such a big seller, they're like, let's try it in the USA.
Yes.
Do you like egg salad sandwiches?
I love egg salad sandwiches. There used to be this place on ASU's campus, and it was called, it was like a little deli. Campus Street Deli or something like that. The ASU Foundation now has taken over. It's on that roadway as you head up to the stadium.
Oh, yeah.
And Campus Street Deli, maybe. They had the best egg salad sandwich.
Ooh, I wish I could have tried them.
Good.
Okay, well, now you get to go to 7-Eleven and try them because it's been such a big seller in Japan with their Tamago Sando, which is a smash hit all across Japan.
So, Ron, online, I wanted to mention this. So, the Japanese egg sandwich, I was looking, like, what is this sandwich?
Yeah.
It has the Japanese mayo. That's kind of what makes it different.
Okay.
But this person, Just One Cookbook, that's the name of her cooking blog.
Okay.
It's got like 5,000 5-stars. And I guess the beauty is like the bread too, right?
Oh, is that right? Okay. Yeah, looks like traditional bread that you can find in any grocery store in America. But yeah, I like an egg salad sandwich too. And so it's already available
what
at
do
a
you
bunch
like
of
in your
7-Elevens.
egg salad?
I'm not in favor of celery.
Oh,
If you really want my full opinion
what
on
about
it.
dill?
Dill is fine. Onion is good.
Pickles?
Yes, as long as they're gherkins.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I have a lot of opinions on egg salad. All right, we're really happy to welcome a couple of guests today to talk about a big event.
Yeah.
Frankly, one of the biggest events in the whole valley every year when it comes to Christmas time. And there's a wonderful tie-in to one of the great organizations here in the Valley. So we are excited to welcome both Susan Mulligan with APS.
Hi, Susan.
And Jessica Haag from Make-A-Wish. Let's get the 411 on the parade itself. When is it? What do people need to know? And why does it just seem to get bigger and better every year?
It sure does. It is getting bigger and bigger. It is a great way to kick off the holidays. So this year we're celebrating on Saturday, December 6th. Things get rolling at 7 p.m. Right around Central and Montebello.
Okay.
The parade runs south to Camelback and then east to Indian School and then finishes at 7th Street and Indian School.
What about those pyrotechnics?
Yeah.
I'm worried about that.
It is bright. It is it is amazing. And this year we are letting it glow. That is our theme for the year.
Oh, love it. And I think it's one of those family traditions, I think, for a lot of Arizona families. How many years have you been going now?
This is the 38th year. And again, it is bigger and better every year. We've been seeing crowds of like 250,000.
Wow.
So it might be the biggest holiday parade now in Arizona. But yeah, people line up early along the parade route. If you're driving down Central Avenue in the morning, you'll see tents and chairs set up as early as like 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So people are ready.
All right. Any special guests that we should know about? I'm sure old St. Nick will make sure he's in town nice and early.
He might be making an appearance, yes, but we're excited this year. We always have a grand marshal. That's kind of a typical piece of a parade, and it's usually an individual. This year, we are thrilled to have an organization that is so worthy of the honor, Make-A-Wish Arizona, celebrating their 45th year. So we thought it was the best way to celebrate.
That is so amazing. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're so honored. And like Susan said, it's our 45th anniversary, so we can't think of a better way to end our 45th anniversary year than with this huge parade that brings so much joy to people. And it's just going to be magical. We have 5 Wish kids are going to be in the parade.
Oh, nice.
And one of our Wish kids has been going every year since he was practically born, and so it's his birthday this weekend. So if you see Zion, tell him happy birthday. He thinks this whole parade is for him.
Of course it is. How old is he?
He's 7.
7.
That's so amazing. By the way, we have a very active chat, and people. Scottsdale Coyote says Make-A-Wish rocks.
Oh, we love you guys.
Yeah, Charles David says reminds me of the Electric Light Parade at Disneyland, but it's bigger and better, right?
Yes, absolutely. They learned from us.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, that's great. Tell us about the other kids that are going to take part in it, because I think people's hearts really, they really shine when we talk about Make-A-Wish and the way you guys just brighten the lives of so many kids. So Zion will be there. Who else should we maybe kind of get to know a little bit?
So a lot of people don't know this, but Make-A-Wish was actually founded here in 1980. So the first wish was granted to a little boy named Chris Gracious. So his mother and the co-founder of the organization, Linda Pauling, is going to be on the back of the APS fire truck, along with one of our Wish kids, Maria. Maria wished to be a princess for the day. And what was really special about her wish is Princess Belle is her favorite. So she actually recorded a custom message to her, and Spanish is the primary language spoken in the home. So she did it in Spanish and really motivated Maria to get through her treatment, and she's cancer-free now.
Oh, wow. That is so amazing.
It's amazing. And then we've got another Wish kid who wished to see baby sea turtles hatch. So he and his family got to go to Florida. They worked with the Wildlife Preserve, and they got to experience that whole magic of the life cycle from seeing baby sea turtles hatch and then actually going into the ocean.
How many families are you consistently working with on any given time? You all do so much great work in helping to make these dreams come true.
Well, thank you for saying that. This year we set a record. We granted 476 wishes, which is the most in our chapter's history. But, we are consistently working. Right now, we have more than 500 kids who are just waiting for their wishes to be granted. So, we are a community-funded and founded organization, so we really can't do it without the support of the community.
What is the easiest way for people to support you?
Yeah, so we always need donations. The average cost of a wish is about $10,000. So we always need donations. But if you are interested in getting involved and being a part of a wish and the magical experience, we need volunteers.
I've seen some of those stories where, like, let's say you're a pilot and you have a plane, right? And you can fly somebody. Or if you have like a special car that a child wants to drive in, and maybe you want to donate time in the vehicle or something like that. For folks who don't understand, you mentioned that it was founded here, which I had known, but can you share that story? It had to do with a DPS trooper, I believe, wasn't it?
It did, yeah. So who I mentioned before, Linda Pauling, her son, he was diagnosed with a type of leukemia, and he loved the show Chips. I don't know if anybody out there still remembers that.
Sure.
John.
Yeah. So that was his favorite show. And Linda was in school, met a DPS officer's wife, and as Chris was getting worse, they were like, what can we do to make this happen? We want to make him an honorary officer for the day. So they worked together, and he's still the only honorary DPS officer in all of Arizona history. He got to ride on a motorcycle, he had a helicopter ride, and he even got to hand out tickets for that day.
That is just so great.
Oh, I bet that was a hard job, handing tickets out, Ron.
Yeah.
Maybe they were warnings. I have a feeling he was like, we're just giving you a warning.
We support law and order.
Yes, we do.
Susan, one more time, the details for the parade.
It's this Saturday, December 6th, starts at 7 p.m., but arrive early because there will be crowds. There's no designated parking, so, you might take a little walk, but bring chairs, bring blankets, and just get ready to settle in for an amazing night.
So great. Looking forward to it. Thank you, ladies,
Thanks,
for coming
ladies.
in.
Hey, before we go to break, here is our poll question. And yes, Dave is coming up in just another minute or two on the Dave Cam. Should members of Congress be allowed to own stocks? 10% say yes, as long as they disclose it and everything's above board. 4% say only if they don't vote on bills affecting those companies. 86% are saying no because there could be conflicts of interest. That's how the QR code looks. Celeste, let's pop up the YouTube channel vote, too.
All right, buddy. Let's look at that one this morning. So, wow. This one is very active.
On fire.
1.3 thousand votes at this hour, just in the last hour. So should members of Congress be allowed to own stocks? Yes, as long as they disclose it and it's all above board, 11% of you. Only if they don't vote on bills affecting those companies, 12%. And no, there could be conflicts of interest. That one winning with 77% of the vote.
Let's go see what folks have to say about it now. Here he is. Dave, what do you see?
Amazing comments on this one. Almost 40 already, and very thoughtful as always. MRJ Charles 6383 says, I think if they want to invest, they should just be allowed to invest in something like a target date or a regular index fund, not individual stocks. Way too much corruption and politicians becoming very wealthy from insider trading. And JMR 5125 says, practically speaking, any candidate for Congress should be required to replace individually owned equities in blind trusts run by the government. Equities owned as part of a 401k are almost certainly okay, as are equities within mutual funds. This would require a constitutional amendment to implement, so not likely. Really interesting comments here. Keep them up, guys. We love hearing from you.
Yeah, okay. There's no doubt about it. When you get over 1,000 votes that fast.
Yes.
Yeah, just over an hour. Mm-hmm. People are engaged, that's for sure.
People are opinionated, Ron.
And by the way, they love their Dave Cam interludes. Look at that right there. From Charles David to Little Philosophy.
And you know what I think they loved as well?
It's all about Dave.
They liked looking at him even closer.
Yeah.
Can we go back to that Dave camera?
Sure.
It's like zoomed in. You know what I mean? Like his face is, raise the roof, raise the roof.
Ronnie, bring up that music early before we go to break, would you? Here, watch this. If you haven't seen Dave dance to our theme music.
Well, they don't usually show it because it like breaks the internet.
Take it away, Dave.
That's so funny.
have just a little surprise now here on FTT on the streaming show.
Oh my goodness! Look at this
that.
shot.
Yeah.
Snow on this battleship.
I love it.
Do you remember that game Battleship?
I loved it. That
D7.
plus Parcheesi. Those were the great games of the 60s and the 70s.
Parcheesi.
So when I say we have a surprise, what am I talking about? This is the picture.
Oh my goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen, the birthday girl is here on today's show. Celeste,
Ron,
you're having a
so
birthday.
Sweet. You're so sweet. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. This was one of our trips that we took to Chick-fil-A.
That's the only trip we ever really take is to Chick-fil-A.
That is also true.
Yeah, we just do a CFA run, and I was going for kind of a James Bond look there.
It worked.
I don't know, Men in
It
Black,
worked.
something like Secret Service.
Yeah.
What look were you going for there?
Just like happy to have chicken.
I know. Look at that. Fantastic. We got to do that more often, Celeste.
Yeah, we do.
I think that was when I had the Malibu.
Yeah, the Boo. We called it the Boo around the newsroom.
That Malibu got to be very well known in this newsroom, that's for sure. So anyway, congrats. And do you have any plans for your birthday weekend?
Yeah, we're probably just going to I actually requested just to have family over to our house and just to have a lasagna.
I know.
And my sister makes this great homemade French bread.
Okay.
And have my mom's lasagna and a salad and just hang at home and have my family over.
That's so great.
Yeah.
My grandkids invited me to come over to their house for Thursday night football, and they said, "Oh, by the way, bring pizza."
Oh,
so I was happy to do so.
Yes.
And then I thought, well, I can't leave out the other house full of grandkids too, so I just surprised them with a pizza on the way.
That's so sweet.
But I'm telling you, family's what it's all about.
It really is.
For
That's
sure.
what matters the most.
All right. Well, anyway, we're all celebrating Celeste today. That is
Thank you,
for
buddy.
sure.
That's so
and
sweet.
There's another story I thought that we could talk about, Celeste, and it has to do with this. Ready? Who will ASU play in the upcoming bowl game? The projections are out, Celeste.
Okay.
Because we are now... we're almost exactly 48 hours away from the announcement. It's going to come out on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to announce, they got all the college football championship games this weekend.
Yes.
ASU didn't make the Big 12. They had a shot.
No, they did.
But BYU and Texas Tech, come on.
Those are going to be huge games.
It's going to be a big game.
Yeah,
Georgia
that's going to be a big
and Bama and Indiana and Ohio State, both undefeated.
I know.
I can't wait.
Got some big games coming up.
So here are the projections, and you tell me, as the ASU representative on the streaming show, Celeste, where you would like to see them go. Ready?
Okay.
It's either going to be the LA Bowl against possibly a Boise or a UNLV.
Oh, okay.
Now, the thing about the LA Bowl, it used to be sort of, so what? I think it's at SoFi now. It's in an NFL stadium.
Beautiful.
That's one option. The Sun Bowl in beautiful sunny El Paso.
Okay.
With an ACC opponent like a Wake Forest or a Clemson.
Okay. That actually would be a great game if they played Clemson.
Or a Vegas Bowl, which that's become a big deal now. They used to play it. It was almost like a high school stadium. It was not that great. But now, of course, they play at the Allegiant Stadium, another NFL stadium.
Yeah.
And that would be, I guess, to be determined as to who they would play in that one.
So the other thing that I'm hearing, where's the Holiday Bowl going to be played? Do you know?
Okay, yeah,
that was
it's
something
in
else.
San Diego.
That was something else that was kind of being floated around.
Yeah,
I
and
think.
that's in the Snapdragon Stadium.
Oh, I've watched a lot of female professional female soccer games.
Oh, really? At that stadium?
At that stadium, yeah. So that's a beautiful stadium.
Yeah, they built it basically where the old NFL stadium was for the Chargers.
Yes.
And they say it's really one of the coolest new stadiums. So do you have a preference? I love the Sun Bowl. I know it's not an NFL stadium, but Washington played in the Sun Bowl last year, and it was the Huskies versus, let me think, it was Louisville. And it was a game that came down to the last play of the game.
I actually would like to see them in San Diego.
Okay.
Because I feel like you're close enough for everybody in the valley to head there. You know, you have like a 5-hour drive.
Yes.
You know, depending on how fast you drive or something like that.
Sure.
To San Diego.
Yeah.
The thing about LA is that we've talked about this when we're talking about the airports.
Yeah.
The airport there is a nightmare.
Oh, it is.
So it's like you want to make it easy on some of the fans too. But one of the, we're hoping, come on over, we have a very special guest. She's making her way over to the This is our escritorio, our desk here, Ron.
Oh,
that's
yes,
Spanish
exactly.
for desk.
Thank you, Celeste. We have great pictures. We were live this morning. I just appreciate out there at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The Mesa Temple has been. Refresh my memory on this, Suzette. How long is the Mesa Temple? It was one of the very first temples ever built in the church.
So it was dedicated in 1927.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking. It was close to 100 years.
Yes.
Is there going to be a big celebration?
Well, I personally don't know what they're doing, but I'm sure there's going to be something.
Okay.
It is one of the most beautiful places. I feel like if you grew up in Tempe, we were talking earlier. She's a Buffalo, Ron, Tempe High School.
Congrats, go Buffs.
And I went to Marcos Deniza. And growing up, I think a lot of people, this is like a family tradition for a lot of Valley people.
Yes.
Yeah, to head to. So. What can we expect if we head out there? Everything's completely free.
Everything is free.
Hey, by the way, let me I want the whole audience to know, I'm going to roll this video because we took our drone out there and you got up nice and early. I don't know where you have to go to plug the lights in, Suzette. I'm sure there's like one long extension cord. But these pictures are just, you have to almost be up from above with an aerial view to appreciate how massive and how really kind of touching it is.
Yeah, luckily it's a little more automated.
Yeah,
it's automated.
It's a little more automated than that. We don't have to go plug all the plugs in. So that would be a lot.
And probably timed or something like that, right? Yeah.
So yes, a lot of work goes into this, but it's a free event, and how
many people does it take? Like, and how early do you guys get started on putting all these up?
So we have a team of about 100 people.
Wow.
That is core team, constantly working. Like, we do stuff year round.
Mostly all volunteer,
wow.
I'll bet.
Yes, all volunteers. Yeah. And then when we get ready for setup and takedown, then we have hundreds more for all the different areas that need to be set up. They're assigned to different congregations or stakes. So there's 63 areas. So it's a lot of people.
Yeah. I missed the email on that one, Celeste, so I didn't have to go down and volunteer this year.
Well, if you give me your email, I'll invite you next time.
There you go.
Yeah.
That is the best response. Ron, this will be the last year you get to skip out on that one.
As long as you have a ladder, you're more than welcome. All right, so tell us, what are we looking at right here? Let's just walk through and look at the pictures, Suzette, and have you describe.
Okay, so this is the North Reflection Pool, and that is our white nativity set. And I believe that every single temple does have that white nativity set. But we add all of this other stuff, lights on the trees and in the flower beds and bushes. And then we have 10 other displays on the grounds. There's a main nativity, and there's a display. Well, everyone loves the camels and wise men.
Yeah, right here they are. Yeah.
Yes. We've had those a long time.
How much land do you have here? When we see these aerial views like this one right here, it's a big display.
It is. So the whole block is about 20 acres. We have about the north half, give or take a few thousand square feet.
Yeah. Now, for people who haven't been into downtown Mesa in the last few years, there was a complete redo, not just of the temple, but all the temple grounds and apartments now and condos and restaurants and a big bookstore. I mean, it's really brought new life to downtown Mesa.
Oh, it's really great down there. So you can go down there and go find something to eat and walk around. The light rail in that area right now is right there. Yeah. It's kind of free in between those few stops right downtown.
Now, the Dairy Queen went away. That's the one controversy. We need to get the Dairy Queen back.
And my husband just talked about that last night. He's like, they need to put that back. I need ice cream.
And you're like I can call that shot.
Well, there's not very many of them left anymore, you know.
Right.
And do you have, I believe, if I recall, you have music playing.
We do.
Yeah.
At each of the 10 displays, there's a QR code stand. And it has some scripture on there, and it has a QR code that you can scan, and then you get linked to a video that goes with that display. But there's also a speaker there that plays audio. There's music and spoken word at each display.
Yeah, I feel like when you go from all 10 of the different display areas. It's almost like walking you through the Christmas story. So especially good for kids.
Yes, it's great.
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy to walk through. There's no specific place to start or finish. You just wander through and see everything.
Now, here's what's really cool, and this is all part, I think, of when they did the rebuild and downtown just revitalized. Once you're done looking at all the Christmas lights, you can go right across the street and see maybe one of the great collections anywhere in the country of nativity scenes. Hold on here. Do we have graphics? I'm looking for graphics 3, Ronnie, or graphics 4. I don't know. You let me know if they pop up. But there you go.
Oh.
Here we are.
There's a nativity.
Okay. So I took that picture, and they're literally from all over the world.
Yes.
Tell us more about it.
So this year in the visitor center, there's a multi-purpose room, and we have 150 sets set up this year. We have about I think it's over 600 sets in our inventory, and we rotate them. So if you have been there and seen them, it's okay. Come back because they're different this year.
Okay. Yeah, I think this was from last year.
So,
let me see if do we have that other one, Ronnie?
Yeah,
Look,
Ron.
Navajo
that's really
Nation.
Cool.
You know, and they'll put a display card up there, so you're like, oh, that one's from Scotland. That one's from, and
are these donated?
Indonesia,
Or they?
They are donated.
Wow.
Yeah. And
really
it is
great.
amazing, all the different mediums used, and they just all look different from each other. It's incredible.
Yeah, so cool. So how long will the display be up?
We run every night through December 30th, 5 to 10 p.m. every night.
Okay.
And the beauty is just yesterday we were having this conversation about how so many of the lights displays, they charge, and it goes up every year. It gets more and more expensive, but as long as it's free, you can't really raise the price, can you?
No.
You can't double the price of free.
Well, we could say we doubled it, but if you took math.
Suzette, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah,
this is great.
So beautiful.
Excellent.
That's gorgeous. Have a Merry Christmas, by the way.
By the way, if you're trying to figure out where it is, we should let you know. And Suzette just mentioned that there's a light rail stop right there. It's on Main Street at about Mesa Drive, right in the heart of downtown Mesa. Just one more tradition here in the Valley of how Christmas has been celebrated for a long time.
We've had some great comments, Ron, and thank you all for watching this morning on a Friday. One of the funniest ones I just shared says, imagine trying to find the burned out flasher bulb if one went out as they were checking some of these. But a beautiful display there at the LDS Temple in Mesa, Arizona. Have
a great day, everybody. Ty and Anita are next.
All right, welcome on in. It is Friday, and look, I was saying we should put you on the payroll bill with ADOT is back again here. And first of all, do you want to get your selfie? Because you said that your daughter was mad at you.
My daughter was extremely upset that I didn't get a selfie on Monday with you and Celeste, because I actually used to work with Celeste at a prior station.
No, Anita can be in it too.
I'm sorry. No, she when I told her Monday that I was here, she was happy, but then I didn't have any proof.
Yeah.
So
I hope she's watching.
She better not be. She better be at high school right now.
Oh, that's yeah. No ditching. All right, let's talk about this because we are talking about the Real ID. Now, this was in the news a couple months ago because we were transferring over. Everybody needed to have that Real ID, but
we had the actual deadline that hit.
Yep.
Because we had been talking about it for years, and then finally it was like, nope, here's the deadline.
But now it's back in the headlines again because TSA is coming out saying if you don't have your Real ID, it's going to cost you $45 to go through TSA. So this is kind of a good reminder again about the ways to get that Real ID.
Absolutely. So in Arizona, you do have a choice. You have a standard driver license or ID or the Real ID compliant Arizona Travel ID. That Arizona Travel ID is a great, convenient option for folks that do domestically fly, as opposed to carrying your passport. But a passport would work just as well, so you don't have to get the travel ID.
You do not have to get the Real ID then if you have a passport, even in February when the rules change.
Correct.
Okay.
So a Real ID compliant credential would be the passport. It could be the Arizona Travel ID. There's other federal IDs, like a lot of folks come and go from Nogales, Mexico into Nogales, Arizona, with a Sentry card.
Sure.
That's also a federally approved ID that you could use. We're just here to remind people that if you don't have the passport, if you don't have other federal forms of identification, that the Arizona Travel ID would absolutely work and avoid the new rules.
And this is something, too, that I think a lot of people were confused about. You don't have to have the Real ID driver's license. You can keep the old driver's license as long as it's obviously not expired, but you can get a travel ID.
No, in Arizona, you would.
You have to get one. Okay.
Yeah, you can't have an ID and a driver license, but you could just use your passport. So if you fly domestically and or internationally enough, you're going to have a passport to fly internationally. So you could absolutely just easily use the passport and get the passport card and use it to fly domestically. And it expires every 10 years. The Real ID expires every 8 in Arizona.
Okay. Now, do you need, I know we were talking about this earlier, you guys were swamped as that deadline was approaching because everybody was trying to get that Real ID before the deadline hit. I'm assuming things have calmed down now. How do people go about getting those appointments?
So you don't need an appointment in Arizona, and I am very proud to say that the MVD in Arizona is one of the best in the nation. You can get an appointment, which would save you even more time, especially if you're going to visit us on a Monday or Friday, like at noon. As you can imagine, will be the busiest time of the week for people. Exactly. So you absolutely can get a book an appointment with us through azmvdnow.gov. You could possibly even get your ID updated online if your photo is less than 12 years old. You may not even have to visit us at all.
Gotcha.
I'll have to tell you guys a funny story. My parents were visiting from Illinois, and I asked them, I said, did you guys get a Real ID, like a driver's license or just an ID? And my mom said that when they went in, they told them, and of course this is Illinois, so the laws are different, but they suggested we call it the DMV there, yes. Okay. Was it DMV? Yeah. Okay. I know differences, but they said get an ID, not a driver's license, because if you get pulled over and you get a ticket in Illinois, they'll take your license, they staple it to the ticket, and then they mail it back to you. So
how are you supposed to drive if you don't have your...
They give you the ticket. So you get a copy of the ticket, which is your form of an ID. But my mom said, well, if I ever got pulled over and I had to fly, I wouldn't have my driver's license. She was very concerned about that.
All right.
I thought it was interesting.
How much does it cost to get the Real ID?
Here in Arizona, it's $25, and it's good for 8 years.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Those are some good tips and tricks.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Anything else?
Website.
So, again, that's a convenient way to travel if you don't have other options, and it really is truly mainly for domestic flying.
Okay.
However, it also would be helpful to get into federal buildings like the federal courts,
that's right,
Air Force bases, stuff like that. Right. Exactly. But the passport's a great option, especially the passport card.
Yeah. I always get nervous taking my passport if I'm not going on like a international trip because I'm like, that's an important document.
I agree completely.
So that's why I think the Real ID is.
And if you get the Arizona Travel ID driver license or ID card, you can put that digitally in your Apple or Google Wallet as well.
I just did that, and it is so cool to have your ID right.
How do you do that? You go through the DMV to do that?
You go through the MVD.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I keep saying
In some states, it's MVR, and some of the others. It's Motor Vehicle Division here. We're part of ADOT.
Driver's license.
Perfect.
Oh, how cool.
And so most airports, or at least a significant amount of airports now accept those. And so what's perfect about that is no one forgets their cell phone anymore.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you lose your wallet, that physical ID could be stolen and taken and whatever, and your cash. If you lose your iPhone, no one's going to hack into that. They need your thumbprint or your PIN or your facial. Like, it's just so much more secure. So it's a great, convenient way to have your ID with you at all times.
Awesome. Thanks for the update.
Thanks for having me.
Coming in. We'll see you next week.
Right, exactly. I'm happy to be here.
We've got you on retainer. That deadline, folks, if you did want to get that real ID, is February, is what they're saying. We don't have an exact date, but they're saying by February.
Okay.
So thank you. Have a great weekend.
We're going to do a quick, we have a lot of guests today, you guys, so we're going to get right to it. Not that one, not that one.
Yeah, save the family.
Okay, we'll go to the Botanical Garden.
No one told us.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Dana, good morning from the Desert Botanical Garden. How are you?
Hi, Dana.
Hold on.
Good to see you.
Oh, you know what? I unplugged myself.
Oh, he unplugged himself, and I couldn't hear you. Dana, it's Friday, and it's been a long week. How about you, girl? You doing good?
We're doing good. Tonight's our weekend kickoff for Las Noches de las Luminarias, so we're excited. We're in holiday mode.
We love that. I'm in holiday mode too. My brain is. I'm just ready to do some Christmas vacation. Tell us about the event. It looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, so this is our iconic holiday event. We've been doing it for 49 years here in the Valley, 8,000 hand-lit luminaria bags, performances throughout the garden, festive foods and cocktails and treats along the trails, along with Santa this year and Mrs. Claus. So we're ready to invite the community in and see this traditional holiday experience that you can only get here in the Valley.
So let's talk about the tickets. I mean, this is such a cool event, and we are looking at some B-roll from years past. It is absolutely gorgeous, and this is a kind of a family tradition for a lot of folks. How do people get tickets?
Easy. Go online, dbg.org, purchase your tickets. We have some remaining for this weekend, but we have plenty. We have select nights now until December 30th that you can still join in the festivities, experience the garden after dark, which is still beautiful and glowing. And we have all beautiful botanical holiday displays too. So it's a perfect time of the year to see something that's so unique to the desert and especially the garden.
I think it's so cool too that you get to see the garden in a totally different perspective.
In a totally different light, actually.
Literally, yeah.
Pun intended.
Yeah. Absolutely. And this year we have Desert Pulse. That's our new art exhibition, which is this multi-sensory experience throughout the garden. So you get Luminaria, you get Desert Pulse, you have our new restaurant, which is on site by Mark Tarbell, which is a wonderful addition to the holidays. But yeah, there's really nothing else like it in the Valley. And our staff and volunteers hand light each and every one of these bags each year, and we turn them off every night. So it's our gift back to the community to be able to experience the garden, like you said, in a whole new light.
How long does that take to light them all?
Next question. How long
we
does
have got it down to a science, about a half hour for both, but we are a full team that's out there and taking care of business.
How cool. It is absolutely beautiful.
Do you have a favorite part when you're walking through the garden? Is there a section where you would tell people you really need to go check? Because the garden's big, and you know, sometimes walking through you might miss something. Is there an area or section of the garden that you would say you love?
Yeah, I love the Heritage Garden, which is lined by our cardones. Those are some of the oldest cactus in the garden. Those are uplit with beautiful holiday lights, the luminaria trails kind of leading to it. But it just feels so Arizona right there. And I think seeing the mariachis perform in the garden is special. But yeah, I mean, I think the whole event is my favorite, but there's some really just private moments that you can find for you and your guests within the garden to experience it.
Real quick, I was reading something, and you can buy a Luminaria bag. Is that correct? I think we're looking at this right now. You can buy a bag for maybe a loved one or something like that, remembrance?
Absolutely, yeah. There's memorial bags that people do to honor past loved ones, but there's also celebratory bags. So if you're proposing, possibly at Luminaria, or celebrating a special birthday or anniversary.
How many of those have you seen?
Oh gosh, we sell several hundred a year. So there's a special section in the garden that is for that. And then you get to take the bag home afterwards, and you can keep it for future holiday events in your own home.
How cool. Well, Dana, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. We always love talking to you over at the Desert Botanical Garden. One of my favorite places to take out-of-town guests is the DBG, because it is absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you soon. All right, we are moving things right along. We've got our next guest here, Kat. You are a dating expert.
Yes, matchmaker and dating coach.
Okay.
Yes.
I want you to know that the reason, no, I'm just kidding. I was going to say that I stay in my marriage is because I don't ever want to be single again. But I'm kidding.
Yeah. It's not the first time I've heard that, actually.
It's tough out there.
It is. It is. I always tell people that if it was easy, I wouldn't be in business.
Oh, that's true.
So true.
So let's talk about the holidays specifically. Is this, like, are there specific times in the year where it is easier and or maybe harder to date?
I think it's always hard to date. It doesn't really matter the time of year. However, the holidays, people think that, people are so busy and people are wrapped up in their holiday traditions and their family. But actually what I find is the time between, they call it cuffing season. So October through February is actually when people are the most optimistic. It's when the people are most open. It's when holiday cheer, you could say, where people are more open to be more vulnerable.
I thought you were going to say that it's the time where people are the loneliest because there's so much going on that people are already invited to holiday parties or they're already doing their family thing. So they're not really out there mingling and looking to meet people.
Yes, that is also during the holidays. I find that because of the loneliness, I think it also sparks things inside of people where they're like, okay, what do I need to do to change this? So that, because ultimately it's up to you to decide on whether or not you want to be vulnerable enough to put yourself out there. And sometimes it takes just that little bit of like an aha moment to where people go, okay, this might be something I'm ready for.
We had a story today that said, go to a coffee shop, Starbucks.
Yes.
To meet people. That is like that the younger generation is not going to the apps anymore.
That's right.
They're going to Starbucks.
That's right. And I say that earbuds are probably one of the things that is the worst that has happened between iPhones and earbuds, where people are completely closed down, looking at their phones, not listening to anybody around them. So I always tell people, take them out and just have a conversation. And it doesn't have to be, or it could be something like, oh, what's your favorite coffee order? Or, oh, I really like those shoes. Where did you get them? Something that just sparks a conversation without an agenda, just to make that connection. Yeah.
I was going to ask you about the apps because I have a lot of friends on the dating apps.
Yes.
And sometimes I think maybe that is a crutch in a way because you're not putting yourself out there.
Like an excuse, maybe?
An excuse because you're not going out there making that quote unquote first step by talking to somebody or initiating conversation and things like that. I didn't realize that we have to take a break in 2 minutes.
Break. Oh, so stay close. 2 minutes.
Hold that thought.
We have questions and comments too.
So we'll go through some of those coming up in just another 2 minutes. But we got Kat here, dating expert on Fox 10 Talks. Much more with her in 2 minutes.
dating questions.
Yes.
Well, one person said you'd have to pay me cash to date. LOL. Someone else says a little philosophy: is dating becoming a thing of the past? It seems hookup culture is becoming the new norm.
That's a great question.
Yeah, it is a great question.
Are people looking for like the next best thing? Like, are they not settling down? You think, or what?
I think it's everything, quite honestly, and it depends on. There has been hookup culture pretty much since the millennials. The millennials kind of started that more of as far as dating is concerned, but I think with the Gen Zs, they're flipping it where there was just a new study that just came out where 57% of high school seniors have never been on a date. So
is that because they're always on their phone though? I mean, my goddaughter's 16 and she'll be sitting next to me and the best thing to do is to text her. Yeah. Because I don't even know if they like, some of them are just literally, we walked out of a school yesterday and everyone was just like this.
On their phone.
Yeah.
They're not engaging.
They're
you
not
have to engage.
Well,
to
and
have a relationship.
nobody's teaching them. I always say like, there's two things in this life that are so important, which is love and money. But yet these are the two areas in life that people refuse to ask for help for, that it's assumed that we know how to manage our money and it's assumed that we know how to attract healthy relationships. Nobody wants to talk about it. And so it's, again, with Gen Z, if they're not talking to their parents and their parents aren't talking to them about how to approach, how to have a conversation, then where are they going to learn it from?
Yeah.
Other than scrolling their phones.
So number one, put down the phone.
Yes.
Number two, where is the best place to go to meet someone?
I always talk about, since COVID, we want to have third places. So first place is work, first place is home, second place is work. And now since COVID, work and home is the same place. So people don't have these other places. So you want to start with your third place. So that could be your gym, that could be your church, that could be volunteering, that could be going back to school, somewhere that you can expand your community to meet more people who also know people that might be able to make that introduction. Yeah.
That's a great point, because I think a lot of people that's great.
Yeah.
Amen, sis.
Amen.
Some Midnight Stars 111. How does one become a professional matchmaker? I've always been so curious.
We don't have enough time for that question. Yeah, I would love that. Yeah. I think matchmakers have a couple of things. Number one, amazing people skills, because you have to be able to relate. Number two, empathy. Number three, positivity. And number four, there's some intuition. There's a little bit of intuition that goes with it. So if you're somebody who really has amazing people skills and can see the best in everybody, you might want to explore
I have
matchmaking.
3 marriages under my belt.
You do?
I do. I hooked up.
Oh, I thought you said you're on your third.
No. I have set up 3 different couples who got married.
So you're a matchmaker.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I love it.
Oh my gosh,
you guys
that's
should join
amazing.
forces.
We should.
Going into the holidays, another question. Going into the holidays, if you were just starting to meet someone, and there's obviously a big pressure. I'm going to my parents' house, and everyone's going to be there.
Yes.
How do you know when to take someone with you?
I think that people really want to rush. We're in an instant gratification. Let's find this out quickly. I think that if you, in the back of your mind, say to yourself, okay, the next step in our relationship, that you have built that foundation enough to where you feel really comfortable, you've been vulnerable enough with each other, the next step would be, okay, let's meet my family and friends. And maybe instead of family, start with friends first, and then gradually move into.
Get a gauge.
Yes,
have them gauge.
that's right.
Like the person.
Kat, can you come back again?
I would love that.
How about that?
Okay. Yes, please.
Dave's going to set you up.
That's
Merry
great.
Christmas.
Merry
It was
Christmas.
great to meet
Thank you, guys.
So much for coming in. We appreciate
you
it.
too. Thank you.
As we mentioned at the top, we have a lot of guests here this morning. So here is our next guest, you guys. We have Robin. She's moving on into the hot seat here this morning.
Hi, Robin.
Kat got it warmed up for me.
Yes, we do. We keep that seat hot
we
today.
could have all 4 of us chatting, and it would be a lot of fun. You have a lot going on. Tell us about yourself.
I do. Well, I'm 67 years old, and I'm having so much fun. I have a professional career. I'm in real estate. I'm a ballroom dancer, competitively.
Wow.
Very, very competitively. Last year, I took up improvisational acting. I have service work that I do, a family, my first grandchild. So a lot of different buckets going on.
Now, okay, let me just, first of all, you look great for 67.
Thank you.
But I feel like when people kind of reach a certain age, they're like, all right, I'm going to start dwindling down my life, making it less complicated.
Ty, why?
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you.
And then,
why did you decide to take on everything?
If I can add to that, we've seen so many things where it's like, I don't remember the names of it. Bill Gates didn't start this until he was 50,
Right.
and so didn't start this until they were 60. It's never too late.
It's never too late. First of all, think about all the wisdom and all the knowledge that we now have sitting within us.
True.
And many of us have a little bit of a simpler life. We're not negotiating kids. Maybe the career is taking a little downshift, so there is a little more time. And I don't take things quite as seriously. I think when you're younger, things are really high stakes. I was terrible when I started improv acting last year. Now I'm less terrible. And I've met all these friends that are in their 30s.
Do you let any type of criticism, critique, feedback roll off your back a little bit? Is it easier to not care what people say and think?
Well, Anita, first of all, I am in a luxury market in real estate. And I tell my team, you have to be like a duck and let it all roll off your back. You have to have a skin. So I don't take criticism that seriously unless I care about the person who's giving me the feedback.
That is such a good point.
And then I have to put myself on pause and listen and reflect. I'm a big thinker, reflector, and then, change if I need to.
What do you think it is about kind of opening up yourself to all these different experiences that, well, I guess, why? Why did you want to do that? I mean, taking an improv class would terrify me at any age. Why were you saying yes to all these things?
I have always been a curious person. My parents owned and operated a nursing home. So since this big, I've been watching people die, quite honestly. So I know that, I only have a certain amount of time, and I love to learn. The improv was an accident because I broke my foot at the national competition in dancing and could not go perform as Miss Connecticut at the Senior Miss America pageant, the Miss Senior America pageant. So I needed to do something while my foot was healing till I went this year.
Are you the improv? Were you always interested in acting? Was there a time in your life where like maybe, and then it just kind of fell to the side, or is this just? Are you trying things that you really never even imagined that you would try?
When I was in high school, I was in musicals, but it was always as a dancer. And when I had this broken foot, I just thought, what did I like that I never really pursued? And then I met an amazing acting coach at Lane Napper, who's, really well-known and really skilled. And I think I'm always about getting the best teacher you can get, whatever you do. So when you have a good teacher and you have a little bit of skill and an interest, that's kind of, to me, a great trifecta.
Sure. Now, do you teach what you preach? Like, do you help other people kind of reach their full potential, or how do people kind of follow your adventure? Because I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, so we started this initiative called Aging with Purpose, and that's what it's all about. Like, let's get older, first of all, with something deeper inside. What's our calling? What's our meanings? That's part of it. And then as we get older, let's look at all the core pillars: fitness, emotional, relationships, spirituality.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we teach that to the teens as they're growing up so they know how to deal with it. But as your life is changing, as you mentioned, you have to learn to deal with things again. How do people get a hold of you?
Either at my website, robinkencel.com, or on Instagram at robinkencel.
We'll have to have you back on as well.
And you're going to be on an episode with Syleste Rodriguez, her balancing act as well, so you can
Great.
catch that as well.
We'll have
Thank you
more
so
on.
much.
It was so nice to meet you.
So
Thanks
fun.
for
Merry
coming in.
Christmas to you.
Merry
Thank
Christmas.
you. Okay, guys, one more guest. We've got just a few minutes left, and we're going to talk about Save the Family. And this is a really fantastic initiative that we are doing. We want to give back, especially around the holidays. How are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Great. Kind of hard to follow the improv act.
I know, right? We've had some fantastic guests, and you're right along with them. So
Tell
thanks
us a
for
little
coming
bit
in.
about Save the Family.
Yeah, so it's a nonprofit here in the Valley. They've just celebrated 35 years. And so they help families who are facing homelessness and homeless instability.
Okay.
How do folks at home help what you guys do? Because I think this is the time of the year where a lot of folks are looking for ways to help their community, give back in a way. And I think this is a perfect opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the holidays are a stressful time for anyone.
Sure.
And think about these families who are having to make really serious decisions between, making car payments or making rent, and so holidays are kind of last on that list.
Trying to get those gifts and maybe put a nicer meal on the table. You have a big event.
We do. So it's Adopt a Family. So we do it for both Thanksgiving, which was tremendously successful, and now for Christmas, where people can adopt families and fulfill the wish lists of all these kids of all what they want to see under their Christmas tree, and really make a difference for these kiddos.
Your deadline is tomorrow.
Yeah. So we were actually all full. Believe it or not, we're all full with all the families, which is a tremendous situation to be in, but we still need donations and support.
Sure.
And the Arizona Charitable Tax Credit is another way people can get involved, where you can get a dollar for dollar return when you file your yearly taxes.
Your distribution is a bit different maybe than some of the others. So you guys have these bins, and the families who are in need actually give you a very extensive list as to what they need.
Yes.
And that's how you fill it.
Exactly. So they give us sort of a list of bio on every person in the family, their age, what they're asking for from the holidays, and you go out and shop and wrap them and put them in these bins, and we have a lovely day where everyone drives up. There's a whole long line of cars. People drop off the gifts, and it's just such a nice time.
What is that like for you? I mean, obviously you kind of see this day in, day out, but it must still be rewarding to see these families getting these gifts that maybe they might have gone without if it wasn't for the generosity of the community.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get lost in it. I mean, I have children of my own, and you think about the holidays and what we're fortunate enough to provide for them, but not all families are, and being able to create that holiday magic and create that sense of wonder and such a fun time of year for everyone, and just make things a little lighter. So
now, are you taking, we've got about a minute left, but if folks are maybe on the other side of things and they might need a little extra help, how can folks reach out for you for that?
Yes, please reach out to our website, savethefamily.org. So we help families in a number of different ways. This year, we adopted 500 different families across the valley. But folks can also get involved if they need some parenting resources, job resources. We're building this amazing building called the Phoenix Scholar House, where we're going to house single moms who are pursuing higher education.
Oh, fantastic.
That's opening. We did a groundbreaking last year, and we're getting ready to open in a few months at the start of the year. So
that is really
there's
great.
plenty of ways to get involved.
And Thanksgiving and Christmas, obviously important, but donations are needed year round. So 30 seconds one more time, the website.
Savethefamily.org.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Merry
coming in. We
Christmas.
appreciate
Happy
it.
holidays.
We told you it was going to be a very busy show.
Lots going on.
We did 5 guests. That's our record.
6 on Monday.
Oh, wow. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Weekend, guys.
Boy, the snow started coming down early this morning on the nation's capital, and it's cleared up a little bit. I mean, there's enough visibility you can see from the White House over to the Washington Monument, but there is a fresh dusting of snow. And it was just last night that they lit the National Christmas tree. We saw some of those pictures of the President and First Lady taking care of it. And there you go. Another white Christmas potentially in Washington. So, Des, living in Buffalo, I would imagine almost every Christmas. Can you remember any Christmases where you didn't have snow on the ground?
Honestly, maybe like one year. And it was probably just like old crusty snow from what I remember.
Yeah.
Not like a beautiful fresh snowfall, but
Right.
typically, it's always some sort of white Christmas.
You know, so growing up in Washington, we had some pretty cold winters back in those days, back in the 60s. And my aunt and uncle, they actually lived on a lake. They had a big apple orchard, and half of the lake was in Canada, and half of the lake was in the U.S., called Lake Osuyas.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was really great. And almost every winter, it got cold enough that the lake would freeze, and we could go out there and kind of act like we knew how to ice skate.
Oh, act like?
Mostly slip and slide around. But those days, they don't come around very much anymore.
No.
So kind of a bummer
It's
on
nice
that.
to see.
Okay, how's your day been going so far? Hold on one moment. I'm just going to slide over here, right there. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, let's find out about your morning.
Yeah, it's been going great. We were live earlier this morning on the show with the Chandler Children's Choir.
Oh, yeah.
And they did a little performance for us.
Oh, I saw
live.
that.
Yeah, they took a trip over the summer. They went to Italy, performed
Right.
at St. Peter's Basilica.
Amazing.
Yep, just amazing. And they performed more than 50 pieces maybe in their time over there.
Yeah.
And they recorded every single one. And they made their own album.
Wow.
And they put together like the best 12 songs.
Okay.
So you can go to their website and check it out. But yeah, we were hanging out with them this morning.
That is really,
They were
really cool.
Really good.
I do remember getting arriving at the airport, and I guess we just got like an Uber or a Lyft or something into Rome. It's a long drive from the
I bet.
airport
How
into
long?
like the heart. I want to say like 40 minutes, maybe something like that. But you just come around the corner, and boom, there it is, the dome of St. Peter's. And it's one of those moments where you're like, wow. There it is.
Beautiful.
You know,
To
because
see it in person.
Yeah, the streets are all windy around Rome, that kind of a thing, and then
Yeah.
suddenly it's just there, and it's pretty spectacular.
Oh, awesome. And while you were talking, I was trying to look up, they're performing on the 13th of December at 1 and 3 if you do want to see
Oh.
them in your local.
Okay,
They're
this
at
is
the-
where now?
The Chandler Children's Choir.
Yep.
On December 13th,
Mhm.
First United Methodist Church of Mesa.
Great.
And they're doing a show at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Okay.
So, yeah, they were, oh my gosh, they're
Yeah.
beautifully.
Yeah,
sung
for sure.
beautifully.
That's so great. Okay, we got some news stories to cover for you this morning, and let's jump right into it because a lot of people are saying, well, now there's this tavern, it's a bar in Tempe, which we know there are a lot of college-age students hanging around Tempe, that's for sure, going to ASU or maybe other schools. But the way this whole thing unfolded, it's the story of there was a 19-year-old woman accused of hitting and killing a motorcycle rider after being linked to this bar, which has been raided for underage drinking.
Yeah, and she herself, just 19.
Yeah.
And yeah, they went through her phone, found some pictures of her having a good time at the bar prior. But what's devastating in this case is initially the motorcycle rider hit, I think, a driverless vehicle, a Waymo, if I believe.
Right.
And then she came and hit, and unfortunately, that's how he lost his life. So it's just devastating. But the arrests, Ron, that have come out of this, just stunning. Hundreds of them, 250 arrests
Of these
during a
underage
bus
drinking.
last month.
Yeah, just last month. And there was another one prior, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, we did a big story on it yesterday, and over there, not too far away at the Tempe City Hall, they're watching it pretty closely. And here, we talked to a city council member who had this to say.
I would like to see the liquor license revoked. It's not a coincidence that it's happening at this one establishment. It cannot be just some accident or spin of the cosmic wheel.
Okay, so the picture you just saw there was Ava Bello, And they say she was at the Tempe Tavern back in September, and she's the one, police say, struck and killed 18-year-old Joseph Gonzalez on that motorcycle, Des, like you were talking about. Yeah. Police also released the images from her phone, which investigators say were taken inside the bar before the crash. So Tempe City Council, we were talking to them, they say, look, the decision, we got to go through proper channels, but the decision, was that what happened? Was that a sneeze?
I tried to
they say the decision to ultimately the fate of the bar's liquor license is going to be up to the state liquor board. So we'll keep an eye on it. And sounds like police are pretty well familiar with that area.
Yeah, I mean, just no good. You can't have that happening at your establishment.
Yeah. Okay, so then there was this other story that certainly got a lot of talk yesterday. Steve Nielsen, he does such a great job for us. And he went out and did a story on there's a guy riding a dirt bike out in Gilbert. No big deal, right? Except where it happened. And the jump that he did is kind of amazing. It's been viewed thousands, if not millions of times online, 15-foot jump over a street.
Yeah.
In Gilbert.
It was impressive.
Uh-huh.
But police are saying also dangerous.
Yeah, so.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, and here's Steve's story.
Well, the jump happened right here in this little strip. You've got busy Wrecker Road right over there. Over my other shoulder, you've got all of these neighborhood homes, and there's still actually marks in the grass of where it appears the bike landed.
17 million views on Instagram of a teenager jumping his dirt bike over a residential street.
That's careless and outrageous.
Now facing a count of reckless driving, his bike has been impounded.
There's, at 3:30 in the afternoon, young moms out walking their kids, people coming home from work, kids trying to make their way back home. They're out there playing, and a community member saw an airborne dirt bike in the air.
Here's the grassy retention area along Wrecker Road using our drone to recreate it. The motorcycle jumped one street, a median, then another before landing in the grass. Online comments are filled with support for the rider. Neighbors we spoke with disagreed.
It's getting frustrating, and many households are getting pretty ticked off with it.
We know my son made an error. He's very sorry about what he did. He's suffered a whole litany of consequences for it.
Nick Campbell is the rider's father, 18-year-old Sam Campbell.
He recognizes what he did was wrong and is very, contrite about it. He's upset. He wishes he could go back and fix it.
This isn't the first time this spot has seen jumps. Here's video Gilbert police posted in October of another jump and arrest for reckless driving.
We've never hosted X Games. This isn't a place where Olympics happen, where sporting on a bike like that's tolerated. And so if they want to ride a bike in that fashion, by all means, but that needs to happen on a track. That's the appropriate place for that.
On a GoFundMe page, thousands have been donated to help the rider get his bike back from impound. But police say it won't be released because they're holding it for evidence in this criminal investigation.
So there's Steve doing a great job. I believe that's
Sam Campbell's father told me he's studying to be a nuclear engineer. He's hoping to find a way to make this right. One neighbor told me he hopes that soon these trees will start to mature a little bit because that would discourage any more jumps in the future. Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News.
All right, Steve, great report right there. So, unfortunately, you get copycats. It sounds like he wasn't the first one to do it.
Right. And that's when it becomes a problem. And yeah, I mean, generally in these green belt areas,
Right.
greenways, families might be running around, people walking their dog or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it certainly is unsafe.
I'll tell you what I worry about, which is what about a situation where, Morrison Ranch is famous for, it has those little grassy areas that make it unique. They got the white picket fences out there, the split rail fences. And so it's just got that look. And if you didn't stick the landing, you're landing in a soft grassy spot. But if somebody sees that and tries to recreate it, jumping over a street somewhere where it's dirt on the other side or gravel or, whatever you'd see in a neighborhood, a parking lot,
Right.
it could be so much worse.
Yeah. And he's young, right? I mean, 18 is young. You still do silly things at that age, right? And I'm sure now after the fact, he's like probably thinking, what What was I thinking?
Yeah, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? Sounds like a Dirk Bentley song to me. Hey, let's go to the poll question. People pretty unanimous on this one. Should members of Congress be allowed to own stocks? 9% say yeah, but they got to disclose it, everything above board. 3% say only if they don't vote on bills affecting those companies. And almost 90%, 88%, when's the last time we had that much unanimity saying no, because I just could see where there could be conflicts of interest. There's a QR code if you want to let us know what your opinion is. And Des, I know you've been looking at YouTube too.
Yeah, and similar here. I mean, the last option has the majority of the vote here on YouTube with more than 2,000 votes here. 11% say yes, go ahead, as long as they disclose it. 13% only if they don't vote on bills affecting those companies, and 76% saying, yeah, no, there's just too many conflicts there.
So just guess who's been looking at all the comments today, ladies and gentlemen.
Man.
Let me go back and look one sec real quick here, Dave. Let's see. The 185 likes, 58 comments. You've been working.
Yeah, it keeps me busy, but I love it because everybody is so thoughtful and respectful in their comments. I'll read a couple new ones. Free JAC says, if they had the discipline to recuse themselves when there is a conflict of interest, sure. But when the Supreme Court cannot even be trusted to do so with its matters, I don't see it happening anytime soon. There is just too much money in politics and it needs to be reformed. And Aaron6516 says, I think there is an overwhelming consensus here. When you can have a direct impact on policy that shapes businesses, it's hard to separate this conflict. I mean, maybe it's something that can have more of a clear separation from personal impact and actual policy changes. Really interesting comments. Keep them up, everybody.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. And, of course, we keep those poll questions. By the way, you can go to YouTube and go to the Fox 10 Phoenix channel. And once you're on there, if you drag it all the way over to posts, if you haven't voted in a previous poll, you can still vote. Every day we get thousands of people. We had a poll last week that had 13,000 votes. So it's a chance for people to really let their feeling be known. And then Dave goes through and looks for some of the great comments.
Yeah, we love it. Yeah, we love to hear from you guys.
Okay.
We got a mystery cam?
Let's pull it up, Des. Look at this. Every picture today has been from snow country, pretty much.
Tis the season.
Look at that. They're keeping the Taco Bell open. The streets are plowed. Everything's fine. But where is it? Okay, let's take a look, Des. We are getting lots of guesses today. And I don't know, I think when it's snowy like that, it kind of makes everything look a little more generic. We were guessing last hour in places like Idaho and Montana, and I think it was Wisconsin. So once it snows, it kind of all looks the same.
Yeah. No snow on the roadways, though. They did a really good job, cleared the parking lots. No snow's coming down.
Yeah.
Beautiful day there. I don't know where this is.
Chris is saying Ohio. Charles David is saying Nebraska.
Yeah. Jenna is saying Illinois. Low Philosophy thinks it might be South Dakota.
Louis is saying Iowa. So we're getting a lot of good guesses here.
Yeah.
I feel that Midwestern vibe going on here. And
I'm gonna go. Oh, and then Jenna kind of down. She's like, wait a minute, it could be farm country, it could be Iowa. I'm gonna go Iowa. There's a couple of those
I think
in there.
that is a really. I'm going to go South Dakota because Low Philosophy, I feel like, is a great guesser.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Yeah.
Isabella?
Oh yeah, we got Bella joining us too. Bella, you got a guess?
Yeah.
I was also going to say Midwest. I don't see any mountains in sight, so that bumps the PNW out of there for me.
Okay, so let's see. You're saying Illinois, Des? Is that what you said?
Iowa.
Okay. All right, and I'm at South Dakota. What state do you want to pick? Like
North Dakota.
North Dakota. Thank you, Bella. Here comes your answer.
Is Macon, Missouri.
Oh.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
Let's go back one more time.
Did
and take a
anyone
look
guess
right
Missouri?
there. I don't think we had a Missouri
so.
in that whole group.
Oh, and B. Miguel coming in with Texas.
Close.
Oh, I could have seen Texas, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thanks again to Dean Fazzini and Live Control. You know, Dean takes a real pride in stumping us.
He does a good job.
Yeah, he does. Okay, so yeah, we asked Bella to join as well, and we got some stories to talk about this morning. This story about how allowances keep going up. You know, everything else is going up, so inflation might as well, I guess, impact allowances. But a new study finds the average kid is now bringing in $52 a month in allowance.
What in the world does a kid need $52 to
Yeah.
buy?
Inflation. That can only buy you like two things.
Yeah.
That's true.
I have to say one thing about this, which at first the headline grabbed me. It was out of the New York Post. I'm like, $52. But then I thought, you know, if you're actually doing your chores, it's not just like we're giving you the money and you're taking out the garbage every day or, you know, cleaning the dishes or whatever it is you're doing, and you're doing it for the whole month, then it's a little over $1 a day, right? It's about $1.50 a day. So now I've gone from outrage to I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if the kid wants to go to McDonald's alone, I mean,
right.
We know what the prices look like there now.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's an incentive for the kids to follow the orders they're given at home. Or
what was your allowance? Do you remember, Bella?
So it started as $10
a week.
Yes.
Okay.
And then when I took on more chores, it was bumped up to $15.
Really? Did you have to do some negotiating with mom and dad to get it up there like that, or?
Yeah, well, they said, you know, you're at $10 right now, but if you also want to do X, Y, and Z, then we'll bump it up to $15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a
good.
chance to get some overtime.
Yes.
Pay in there.
And I wanted more money, so I was happy to take on more chores.
Des, how about you?
I never got an allowance.
No, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
You just like you're going to pull your weight in this
It
family,
was
and here's
just,
what you're going to do.
listen, you live here, we're feeding you, we're clothing you.
Right.
This is part of being a family.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, that's how they looked at it, you know. We're all on a team, you're a teammate, and you got to pull your weight.
Well, I have to tell you something funny. So I picked up our granddaughter Ava from ballet practice yesterday.
Fun.
And they have their big performances coming up this weekend. And she's just such a talker. You know, you get into these conversations. So she told me something about the way they clean their house. So this is my son Jordan, his wife Kelsey, and their 5 kids, which I always say 5 is the perfect number. But
you know where he's getting at with that.
We know. no.
But anyway, she told me that when they're done cleaning, now they do it every Saturday morning, but it's a kind of on a day-by-day basis in the morning as well before they get going with the rest of their day.
Clean up before you head out.
And she said they get a grade from mom and dad, who of course are participating and not just supervising. They get a grade on how well they did cleaning the house that day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
And she had an opinion about it. She's like, we got an A- yesterday, and I guess it was an A-, but barely.
Oh, good for her.
Trying to advocate for herself.
Yeah.
Wait a second. I thought that was A+ effort, Mom and Dad. I like that idea. And you know what I actually want to look up for Christmas? Because I don't want my kids to be drowning in new toys and new things.
Yeah,
so kids, are impressionable. They like to feel like they're contributing. They're
Definitely.
always asking, can I help mom? So I wanted to get like a visual chore chart or board so they can see that laid out clearly, and like whether it's placing a sticker when it's done or whatever it might be, and then at the end, if you collect so many stickers or mark it off, we can have a treat tonight, ice cream or
That's a great idea.
something, right?
So when I was your kiddo's age, before I was in the middle school getting the allowance, I had a sticker chart, and every time I did a chore, I put a sticker down, and at the end of the sticker chart, I was able to pick out a movie to watch, and that had me so busy.
Yeah,
so that's a great idea,
right? And it gets them thinking okay, this is what I need to be doing every day, but obviously then we're doing it.
You want the sticker.
Right. Let's see how the comments are going on this, by the way.
What was your allowance, you guys? Do you remember?
Yeah, talk about that to us.
I like Jen's comment. She says, we never got an allowance. We had to pick blueberries for cash.
Okay.
I love blueberries. So that's fun.
Oh, so you had did you grow up on a farm or something, Jenna? Or your family just had a garden? Or let us know.
And Chris is saying, it's a good idea to show kids a work ethic early in life.
Definitely.
That is so true.
Definitely.
And just the whole idea of you work hard, you earn $1 or $2.
Yeah.
And I always told my kids when this would have been kind of late elementary school through junior high and into high school, that if they wanted to not spend their money, but go out and earn it, however they earned it, eventually, allowance and chores at home you turn into teenage jobs.
Right.
And I said, if you want to save it and put it in a mutual fund, I'll double it.
Nice. That's a great idea.
And so at various levels, some of our 3 kids were more motivated by that. But I'll just say the one of the 3 who was the most motivated,
doing pretty well right now,
later in life ended up with a pretty darn good savings account.
Good.
That's great.
So
yeah, I love that idea. Isn't it so tricky to be a parent?
Yeah.
You're always trying to find these ways to get to your kids to do the right things and get on the right track.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I'm like, when do you stop incentivizing things so much? Because I also don't want them to think, you're rewarded for everything you do, or,
Right.
So, I mean, they're young enough right now.
By the way, I thought this was really interesting as part of this study. They said that 61% of the adults, the parents who participated in this study, 61% say we actually think our kids are more fiscally responsible than we were when we were their age.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. I remember just having a piggy bank, and my goal was to fill it up all the way.
Yeah.
So maybe with these kids getting allowances, they want to establish a visual saving of some dollars in the bank. That's my guess.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I can see that.
Well,
my brother's a lot younger than me, and he's very fiscally tight.
Yeah.
We'll say.
Good.
I meant to make a note. So, Dave, if you get a chance, we're always it's a streaming show. We're just talking. But we should try to reach out to Michael Dell, who's the billionaire behind Dell Computers.
Yes.
And this thing that he agreed to do is, I believe I have this right, sets up $250 for every youngster in America to start them on a savings account. And then, of course, the whole idea is then maybe mom and dad will put another $100 in at some point. And that if kids are invested in it at an early age, they understand the whole concept, like the 61% more fiscally responsible. Sure, you can go out and blow it at a convenience store, or Dollar General or wherever. But if you're really motivated to save, which is the whole idea here, that maybe we have a new generation of savers, which wouldn't be a bad thing.
I really think
I
it would
hope
be
so.
nice in schools if they focused more on financial literacy.
Yeah.
Like I remember in middle school, like I would take home ec, and it was like just a small portion of like home ec that you'd learn, like how to balance a checkbook or your account. But I wish we took it even further.
I agree.
And taught them about
100%.
mutual funds or the stock market. I mean, I'm embarrassed to say I don't understand any of that now, even in adulthood. So why not give them the tools, to try to figure that out?
Right.
Not saying stitching a pillow is not an important skill, but I am with you. I
would,
I'm navigating life now, trying to learn these things in real time. So I completely agree.
And now you feel like you're like trying to catch up. And it's like, wait, I could have been so much farther ahead.
My dad was a school teacher and a basketball coach. And he retired from that and became a financial planner, mostly for teachers, to give them the skills they need to make sure. And over 300 people came to his and mom's retirement party, and every one of them said the same thing. Thank you for starting us on a path of savings. Because now we're still a ways away from retiring ourselves, but we have a nest egg.
Yeah. You know what? In us speaking about that, and then the statistic you just gave, it actually gets me thinking, like, God bless my parents. They're very hardworking and have worked all their lives, but they necessarily didn't focus on their financial future, as much. And I think I've taken kind of a note from that, and I'm doing things differently. And then I hope that my kids do things even, much more different than I have to be even, better off. Yeah. So maybe that's why, maybe you do have these younger generations learning from mom and dad.
Who knew this was going to turn into this whole convo?
I know.
Right?
I know.
It took almost all of our time today.
And as Des and I say every day, Isabella, that's it. The half hour's
already?
out.
So fast.
Well, we hope you have a great weekend. And
save that money.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Fox 10 Talks. We'll say goodbye.
Bye.
From snowy Missouri. I mean, we all knew about Wisconsin, right? Or upstate New York, but all the way down to Missouri, it's a snowy December day.